As the title indicates, this is If You Don't Agree, You're Wrong. I'm one of your hosts, VHS Jason. Next to me, on the roof of his building, I believe, Jason Roy Gaston.
Oh, my.
You've certainly picked the weather for it.
Absolutely. Well, you know, when you're as cool as I am, anywhere you go is a cold front.
I just appreciate you're getting started early with Christmas, being this November 1st.
Well, you know, the second that Halloween is over with, they thaw out Mariah Carey, I don't need a lot for Christmas. And then it's just downhill from there. She should be. She should be.
Sued
yes.
Time.
She should be sued. She should be imprisoned for what she's done. Retail workers all over the country will thank the justice system if she has to do hard time.
Yes, absolutely. Well, mate, we're not here to talk about Mariah Carey because we've got a lot to talk about because we've been watching a lot, Jason.
We have been watching so much goodness.
So much television. We have nothing better to do with our lives but to
I have no life.
No, he doesn't. But we do. We do. Our life is to report what we thought of all the shows to these guys out here.
Miserable existence.
It is. But
I have nothing to live for.
Rick and Morty. We're going to start it with Rick and Morty.
All right, Rick and Morty.
Jace, do you want to? Would you like to start it off this week and give us your thoughts on what you thought of this week's Rick and Morty?
Well, Rick and I guess I should say, go ahead and start. Oh, you've already started. Fine.
I'll give you a couple extra seconds.
I don't need them. Rick and Morty was fantastic this week because it was one of those crazy, zany, madcap adventures that we've been that we love this show for. Still, I've accepted the new Rick voice. I still have not completely grown to love the new Morty voice, but you know what? It's whenever you got an episode like this, it honestly does not matter. Just seeing Rick go on an adventure with Dr. Wong and Unity returning was unexpected but delightful because I do love that whole. I love the whole thing. I'm just wondering where Patton Oswalt Borg went. What happened to him? Did she dump him already? If so, I want to know why. I want to know what happened. But yeah, I like that Rick is working on himself because it is an unexpected and yet strangely wholesome thing for him to do. I like that he is trying to take these steps in fixing who he is. And it's not because he wants to dupe anybody. It's not because he's just rolling his eyes trying to get out of things, but it's coming from a place that's genuine. And I like that they're allowing Rick to evolve. It is something that's different because usually the show's very nihilistic and it just doesn't think people can be better. And now we're being exposed to a Rick who, I don't know, maybe a little bit defiantly is trying to be a better person. Plus, okay, Keith David is the president, always a plus as well. I really don't see any major difference between the show with or without Justin Roiland. I think that they've made their point, and I think that the show is just as good as it always has been. I'm giving it a rurific thumbs up.
Rurific. Let's get him out. There we go. Beautiful stuff. Excellent. All right. Well, I'm going to take a crack and let you know what I thought. I see this is, I didn't have any issues with the voices at all at this point. I'm used to them. It doesn't bother me. It just feels like classic Rick and Morty to me at this point. And this was a fun episode. I particularly like the President Curtis arc here because it's really about his insecurity and his constant narcissistic need to be approved by everyone, which plays out brilliantly where he decides to control the hive mind, and they're all coming back and giving him compliments at how good he is. And it's this wonderful little coda at the end of it with his arc where he admits when they're having beers at the end in the White House that he may need to go and get some therapy. So I thought, wow, you had a little profound in it. Yeah, but it was fun. It was crazy. It was off-kilter. Unity was fantastic as well. But you know what was really odd was that post-credit scene. That was an odd little clip where we had Mr. Stabby appears on an alien talk show called Gary Live. And he gets questioned about killing thousands of kind of people and that. And his reply is really macabre, saying, look, people come to my shows because they do. It's voluntary, and they know the risks, and they know what they're getting into. And that is so Rick and Morty, to throw this really macabre, awkward scene right at the end of it. Nah, delightful show. I'm really digging it. Season 7 hasn't missed a step now in regards to the big controversy in they're just moving on with it. And yeah, when it comes to Rick, I am liking the Rick on a more positive journey at this point. So that is enjoyable as well. So fantastic. Definitely a Roo-rific. Definitely a Roo-rific.
Excellent. Yes, I am glad that the controversy is going to be nothing but a little stumble for the show. I honestly don't even think anybody's going to remember the controversy.
Well, it's not reflected on the screen.
No, it's not.
So,
as a matter of fact, I think that you can argue that it's kind of taken an uptick in quality. I didn't really think that the first episode was just terrific, but the subsequent 2 have been great, and I've loved them, and I'm here for the rest of the season.
You know what? Sometimes these things happen, and it gears up the team because they got a point to prove.
Yep, and I think they've proved it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's move it on, Jace. We're going to move it on now to Lower Decks.
Lower Decks!
Lower Decks! All right.
Delta shift.
Yeah. And now we're on episode 9. I can't believe the season is almost over. It's insane, isn't it?
It's about to be a drought until 2024.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go. Well, I'm going to let you know what I thought about it. Very solid episode. Did enjoy it. It felt very much with my great concerns of the previous couple of episodes that this episode be somewhat driving the season forward, and I did love it, you know, and certainly the whole idea of Nick Lucano. I mean, that's feels so Lower Decks to do that. It's just perfectly done. So you've got this episode, which is one part The Force Awakens, trying to find Nick Lucano, and then the other half's like Predators. They all just landed on this planet. And I really dug that as well. I really enjoyed, especially there was a fight with all the different species, which was wonderful, and they all kind of worked together. I also don't have a problem, which I know there's a certain part of the story that you have a massive problem with, and I'm not going to say what it is in case you're going to mention it, but I had zero problem with it. It's nice to find out new information sometimes. And it was a good reveal, so I did absolutely enjoy it. So, yeah, this is thankfully an episode where we are now driving it forward to what it was. I assume this final episode will be very Nick Lucano heavy. But, yeah, I don't have much more to say about this except I had a good time. It was... I think I mentioned a season saver. That was a bit dramatic. Not a season saver, but certainly a good readjustment for the Lower Decks ship as such. There you go. So definitely a thumbs up. Thumbs up. Where are you? Oh, you're a bit lazy today, Dazza.
Yeah, he's missing his cues today, you Dazza, you bloody drinking on the job. What's wrong with you? You should already be drunk when you come to the job because that's the Aussie way. Yep.
All right, buddy. Let us know what you thought of this episode of Lower Decks.
Okay, so I'm going to start with my cons first of all. You called it. I'm so sick of Mariner's arc in this season. It just seems like every other episode she's having a revelation or she's turning a new leaf, and then the next episode it's completely forgotten and she's back to her old ways. And I'm so tired of it. I'm tired. I want it over with because it just seems like they are just going nowhere with it. Granted, she's had another breakthrough. And we learned that all of a sudden she knew Sita from Star Trek The Next Generation. Where did that come from? It was never hinted to. It was never established. There was nothing. It was just, oh, by the way, I knew this person in this one episode that everybody has strong feelings for. And I'm just like, what? Really? We're going to do that? If they had dropped some hints, like maybe had her picture in Mariner's quarters, or Mariner talking about this old friend from the academy, but she's not around anymore. I don't want to talk about it. That would have been fine, but it was nothing. They just did nothing. Okay, let's flip it over. I did enjoy this episode. Regardless of my feelings towards the Mariner arc, I enjoyed the fact that Captain Freeman is competent once again, because I thought her mission was fantastic. I thought that coming back with Ma'a on the planet was great because I love that character in the Douche. I'm so fluent in Klingon today, and I really like how everything played out, and of course having Nick Locarno be the one behind everything was such a subversion, because all of my predictions have been wrong, and I think that they're gleefully making fun of me. Specifically, they watched my podcast and they think, okay, he thinks it's the butt bugs, let's not make it the butt bugs. Okay, throw out the whole thing with Peanut Hamper. I'm going to cut it short because I'm running out of time. But of course, see, he comes out for me. I'm giving it a thumbs up. He's on time for me. He respects me. There's no respect for you.
No, not at all. I didn't have a problem with that Mariner issue that you have. Based upon, I thought, well, maybe this is the way they're going to introduce it, and we're going to get to find out more about this. So this is the first reveal about that relationship. And as we go along, we'll get flashback scenes. We'll get to actually, I didn't see it more as an issue. I was just like, wow, that's a secret that she's been holding on to that none of us knew. And she's a very secretive character.
I just don't like the out of nowhere reveals. To me, if you're not at least telegraphing it a little bit, giving a little bit of foreshadowing, it's just there for shock. It's there for laziness. And I hate to use that word, but that's what it felt like, was laziness. You could take Sita Jaxa, you could take Sito Jaxa out of the episode and replaced it with, yes, I knew Sarika Vulcan. We were good friends. And then he died. And now I'm mad. Me. Although I will say, this has got me excited for next week because I'm just anticipating all the jokes they're going to make. About I'm still thinking that Nick Locarno is Tom Paris's transporter clone, and they've got to say something about it. And we know Bradward's got a transporter clone out there. They name dropped Thomas Riker. So we've got 3 transporter clones running around, and it's almost like, I don't know, maybe they're planning something with the butt bugs and the whale probe and the Packlids, and I don't know. It could happen.
But it's exciting. It's only a couple of days away.
One of my theories will come true. You just wait.
All right. Well, before we move on, let's just say hello to a couple of people who decided to drop by. PokeTuber says hi. But he loves your vids. They are so funny. Yep.
Of course he does, and I congratulate you on your good taste. Thank you, sir or ma'am.
Yes, our good friend Joe from Catcher's Quadrant. He locked his keys out of his house, Joe. He didn't have a choice.
It was this or nothing. Back in. My kids are in there. They won't let me in.
Oh, that's good to know. Yep, that's why I'm here, mate. That's why I'm here. And then Fairy Penwings. Good afternoon, boys.
Good afternoon to you as well. Or evening here. I don't know. Is it afternoon for you?
It's
evening,
actually technically morning? Still morning here. It's 15 minutes
okay.
before 12 here.
Your country is so weird.
We're from the future, mate. The future is weird. That's all I can say about that one.
Yes.
All right. Let's get back to the show. We are now moving on to Crapopolis.
Yay!
Excuse me. I nearly
oh, my gosh.
That.
You're getting all choked up because of Crapopolis.
Yeah, because of Crapopolis. So, absolutely, Crapopolis. Let's get into it. I'm a bit out of sorts here. Got my stuff ready. All right, whose turn is it to talk about it first?
I believe it is my turn.
It is your turn. You ready to talk about
I am ready. Let's talk about
the latest episode of
Crapopolis. All right, so I love this show so much. I love every character on this show. I love all of their arcs. I love everything. So this is about having a party out in the woods. As a matter of fact, this episode was called Woods Stock. Whenever you have somebody who's a party killer suddenly becoming the life of the party just because they're happy, and then they summon Dionysus, who makes the party epic, and it's all messing up the plans of the wood nymphs who want to assassinate Tyrannus in the first place. This was just a classic comedy of errors, except I wouldn't even call it a comedy of errors. It was a comedy of successes. And I just loved it all. Matt Berry is hysterical as I can never a schlub. He's hilarious as schlub. Every single line that comes out of his mouth is just fantastic. This man needs to play Beast in the X-Men movies from now on, because I just think he'd be Wolverine. You are the biggest bastard in all of Genosha. I just think he would be amazing. But yeah, I'm actually. This has become one of my new favorite shows, just out of nowhere. I remember whenever I saw it pop up on my schedule, I was just thinking, "Oh, hey, a new animated show. Let's watch it, and it's going to suck, and we're going to be out of it in a week." But no, it's become one of my favorites. It's hilarious. It's wonderful, and I don't know. Maybe I'm just overreacting because I just had such a positive reaction to this episode. But I'm just he's all over the place, and he's on time for me again.
Ooh,
so I'm giving it an
that's
ultra dazza. Yes, because it was dazzling for me.
All right, okay. I'm gonna let you know what I thought about. Yeah, it's called Woodstock, I believe. It's
Woodstock, yes.
Yeah, like the idea of it. I mean, like to me, I don't know why I laugh so hard, but it's never ends. The party never ends. The torture of this of this whole thing was that I loved, what's his name again? Dionysus. I thought he was wonderful. Yeah, look, this show is really strong because of the character development they're giving it. Tyrannus, he's like the hapless fool, but you're so rooting for him. You so want him to succeed because his motivations are so pure. He's probably the most pure kind of person there. And yes, really, the scene stealer in this is Schlub, is that the Manticore kind of where he has that. It's called Parsio, I think the other Manticore was, if I was got that right. And I just love that whole dynamic where one's being the real alpha, like you got two of them there, and one's being the alpha, one's being the beta. Schlub's trying to deal with him, trying to like be a cool kind of host, and I love all that. So. Nah, I mean, wow. This is probably a show that when I first saw it, I thought, oh, great, Dan Harmon's back and it's a decent show. But every episode's about 5% better with a baseline that was pretty damn high to start with. So you've got a show that's incrementally getting better each week. This is wonderful. I don't know much more I could say about it. I can't wait. Actually, I don't know how many episodes this has got, but I can't wait to see the whole season so I can go back and rewatch it again. Of course, it's a thumbs up. Maybe not an ultra, but it's definitely a Dazza thumbs up. Dazza, what's the deal, man? Dazza.
He just does not respect you.
I don't know what the deal is.
I don't know. It's just a complete lack of respect for your authority.
Yeah, it's the fact that he's not happy with what we're feeding him at the moment. So
what are you? Are you feeding him? Because I'm not feeding him.
Yeah, well, you know, the drop bears. They're good for kangaroo food.
Okay,
so.
Okay. Well, it's all the chlamydia. It makes it too spicy.
Oh, yeah, for the koalas. That's their like defense. Venereal diseases there.
Same defense as a pepper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's move it on. Bob's Burgers. We're talking about Bob's Burgers. All right, let's get into, well, the episode 4 of season 14, which still blows my mind.
Yeah.
And here we are in the 4th episode of that, and it's my turn, so I'm gonna have a talk about what they call running down a gene. You know what makes Bob Burgers work so well is the little stories that they tell. And this is another episode of these little stories that they're able to make a really entertaining 22 minutes from. And I love the fact that Gene has a dream about a song that he wrote. And it's going to help him win the contest. He can't remember it. So he goes through this whole entire journey for the episode. And finally writes a song to talk about the song that he can't remember. And then decides not even to submit it in the end in the contest. I thought was really sweet and adorable. And then you've got the Looney Tunes side quest of them trying to find that thing that's chirping, the cricket that's chirping, which I thought was kind of sweet too. Bob's Burgers is so comfort food. And this is a real comfort food episode. You can have a really crap day, and I think you watch an episode like this of Bob's Burgers, you're not going to feel as bad, put it that way. So it's a wonderful show that gives me all the good feelings inside, and it's great to see that Bob's Burgers knows its lane, knows what its strengths are and then just continues to operate at a real high level within those parameters. It's really great. Don't even need 2 minutes for this. This is horrific. Thanks, Dazza, mate. Thank you for coming on time for that one. All right, Jace, it's up to you now.
Let me take a bite out of Bob's Burgers. Let me do it. All right, so I echo everything you said. Bob's Burgers is just ultimate comfort food. I love the fact that it's never so wacky that it becomes cartoony, but the adventures are still kind of grounded. And so to me, they're kind of relatable, because who has not tried to sleep with a cricket in the house? Those are noisy little creeps. I don't know. They're like screech roaches. That's probably what you call them in Australia, screech roaches. Or, it starts with a C and ends with a T and is not carrot. Yeah, I mean, I love that. And trying to remember a dream, that's about as wacky as it gets, is that everything that takes place in Gene's dream is wacky and it's weird and it's surreal, and yet it still feels grounded because it is in a dream. I love this cast. This group of characters work so well off of each other. I can't imagine that they record all their parts separately. They have to do it together because they're playing off of each other so well. It is a sweet show. It is comfort food. I do not understand how this show is 14 seasons in and has never suffered a drop in quality as far as I'm concerned. So you know what? I'm not going to need 2 minutes either. If you're not watching Bob's Burgers, there's something obviously wrong with you, and you need to reevaluate your life, because it will definitely change you as a person.
Fantastic. All right, let's keep it moving, mate. We're going to go now to The Simpsons, who are currently in their 35th season. Now, Jace, let's get into it, mate. You're going to let us know what you thought of this week's episode of The Simpsons, which is called Thirst Trap, a Corporate Love Story.
Yes, let's talk about this. So first of all, kudos for trying to do something different. I do appreciate that they are seeming to be experimental this season. Doing a documentary type episode. Unfortunately, nothing in the episode was really that great. I laughed a couple of times at the machinations of the CEO, the female CEO who marries Mr. Burns. I could get into the story. I could get into everything. But here's the thing. Harry Shearer cannot do the Mr. Burns voice anymore. The voice actress for Marge, which I can't remember her name, she can barely do the voice of Marge. So The Simpsons is at a crossroads right now. One, they either need to end, or two, if they want to continue, they really need to seriously start thinking about recasting some of these actors. And I say that with a very heavy heart, because despite the things I'm saying about the show, despite its major dip in quality the last decade, I still have affection for The Simpsons. They are an international icon and treasure, but time has not been kind to the show, and time is kind of running out for our voice actors. And the only thing I could think of during this episode is it honestly sounded like they had already recast Mr. Burns, because he doesn't sound like Mr. Burns anymore. And this is me who I haven't watched the show in about probably 10 years. It's jarring and it's just sad at this point. So I'm going to have to very reluctantly, because this episode just made me feel sad more than anything else, I'm gonna have to give it a thumbs down. But again, I'm going to laud them for trying to do something different. They tried, but unfortunately, this was not a success.
All right. I'll let you think. I'll let you know what I think of this episode. There comes a point in life where you come across something and you have very strong affection for it. And you move away and you come back and revisit it. And maybe, you appreciate the memories of something that's gone past, but there comes a time where you get to a point where you've got to accept, for me, that my time with The Simpsons is probably done at this point. The episode was flat to me. It was a mockumentary kind of Netflix documentary style. I know what they were doing. I didn't find it that original, Jace, because I've seen them do mockumentaries kind of before. It just seemed really on the nose because this is basically a parody of Elizabeth Holmes. Yeah, look, they're trying hard, but it is, I think, for me, Jace, a time where I've got to say thank you for The Simpsons, for the hundreds of hours of entertainment and the affection I have for the series. But I think I'm kind of done. And I couldn't agree more about Mr. Burns. It was so distracting in all the scenes. His voice, it was horribly different. It wasn't just an octave out. It felt like, as you had said, a completely different actor they've hired to come and do this. So I'm pulling a move here, Jay, something that, we briefly spoke about before we did the show. Not only do I agree it's a crock, but for this show, at this point, and I think we're probably going to agree, I'm not saying we won't come back and revisit the season later on, but I think we're out. Not I'm out, I think we're out. So
yes,
what that means, guys,
so.
is we're probably not going to do this every week, this show. We'll come back and revisit it if it gets stronger. But honestly, there's so much, and these are the choices we have to make, is there's so much good television out there. Do we use this time to watch something that we're not enjoying, or do we move forward with something that we are enjoying? So I wish The Simpsons best of luck throughout the season. Hopefully there's some good episodes that come for it. But thank you again. Badunsky here.
The thing I don't understand is, why did they not do Treehouse of Horror this week?
Why? They're doing it next week.
Yeah, there was absolutely no reason not to run the Treehouse of Terror this week.
It seemed like perfect timing, a day before, 2 days before Halloween.
Yeah, it's just
the perfect
weird.
lead up. It's so weird to do it after when everyone else is done with the holiday.
Yeah, I don't understand it. This should have been the Treehouse of Terror this week. And I am going to watch next week because I want to see how their Treehouse of Terror episodes are. Because, like I said, I haven't watched the show in a decade. But yeah. I'm sad.
Yeah.
I'm not even angry. I'm just sad at this point.
All right, Chase, let's move it on. Let's see if we can't pick it back up to something more positive. Gen V. The show that you watch whenever you want to feel better about things. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, but it had a slow start, but we had, as we've said each week, it's kind of gotten better as well. We've been enjoying it. But what did we think about this episode? I'm going to let you know what I thought. This is really kicking into gear. This has had a very strong second half and I enjoyed the first half, but the second half of the season is really going places. I like this episode a lot. There were twists and turns and things that were unexpected in this episode. I loved certainly the principal Newman. Is it Newman?
Newman.
No, Newman is the senator that the what's name girl meet, which is fantastic. It's Shetty. The fate of Shetty we get in this episode is fantastic. There's so much goodness happening to it. The drama's out of full tilt at this point. Even the scene where the dad has the seizure and in the ambulance, really kind of great stuff. So, look, there's so much goodness about this. I'm not going to get too much into the plot because I think it's really a show that you need to, especially at this point, discover as you're watching it, not be kind of told third hand. But it's really cool. I'm really excited for what I believe is the final episode next week. Where is this going to take us? How is this going to end? It's really great, and we got a good little cameo too from a character from The Boys as well, which made a very important appearance in this, and I think kind of indicates where this final episode might be. My guess is we're going to actually get to see some of the seven. Is my tip may appear in the final episode. So absolutely wonderful. Gen V, kudos to you guys. Not as strong as The Boys, but you really worked hard to kind of save this season. So where are you, Dazza? Come on, buddy. Where are you? It's it's a thumbs up. So.
He's just not showing up for you this week, is he?
He's just lazy. He's just lazy.
Wow.
That's the problem. All right, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do
There we
this.
go.
So, the first few episodes of the season I didn't care for because I think that they threw a bunch of pennies into the air. Well, the pennies are dropping, and it is so much fun to watch. We're seeing not only the culmination of many of the plot threads that were, bless you, that were put into that were put into motion by this season, but we're also seeing uh, public ramifications for things that happened on The Boys. The whole idea that this entire generation of Supes are being empowered by Homelander basically roasting a guy that just made him upset is actually chilling. And what I really like about this episode is that it has put everything into shades of gray. Because what we basically have are the normies trying to come up desperately with any kind of weapon to use against out of control superheroes. And you kind of understand what they're doing now, and you kind of root for them as well, because who wouldn't want something that would put Homelander and the Seven in check? I think that this episode was fantastic. Many twists and turns, many great scenes, a happy return, and it just seemed like every 5 or 10 minutes something was happening in the episode that I was just thinking, "Woo, oh, oh, oh." Uh, it is an absolutely fantastic show, which surprises me because I started this series not even liking it. I'm still saying it took a long time to get going, but now that it is going, I'm with it till the end. I want to see what happens. And Dazza, you know, come out on cue. 3, 2, 1. There he is. Oh, look at that. He listens to me. I'm giving it a thumbs up.
I'm going to ship him over to you sooner or later.
Yeah, I'll feed him. I'll feed him something other than chlamydia infected drop bears. Come on down here. We have this place called Outback Steakhouse. It's based on this mythical land. I don't know where it's at, but apparently the onions there are delicious.
Like that Outback Steakhouse is like what it is for Chinese people who see Chinese takeaway. It does not reflective of what we eat at all.
Well, if that's the case, I don't want to come to Australia because if everything don't taste like Outback, I don't want to go.
Blooming onions, eh?
If you really want to know a good place to get some good ethnic food, it's the Olive Garden. The Olive Garden's got the best Italian food in all of America, even better than the Italians.
You cannot beat a good pub meal in Australia. And Fairy Penwings, he would back that up, being from Melbourne. If there's nothing better than if you can get a good pub meal, mate. Chicken schnitty, maybe chicken palmy, or a good old rump steak. That's as Aussie as you're gonna get.
They're probably all slathered in liquor, and half of them are poisonous.
Maybe.
Well, one of these days, I'm hoping to make it to your country so I can try this stuff myself because I'm very curious.
All right, let's move it on.
And Jason was never seen again.
Yeah. There's a few roads I wouldn't be driving down here.
There's a kangaroo in the water. Look, he's telling me come here. I'm coming.
Oh, how cute is this thing? And then you're dead in 30 seconds. Yeah. All right, let's move it on to Loki. Season 2 of Loki. Poor Jace, we are 4 episodes in, which is like a blinking of the eye, and here we are. For a show that only has 6 episodes, you know, we're 2/3 through this season already. So I'd love to hear what your thoughts were of a very dense 4th episode.
Oh my goodness. So, dense is a word. This was a lot. This is a show that definitely knows it does not have that many episodes, and it's stuffing every episode full of goodness. It's like, I don't know if you've seen the recipe online about the popcorn surprise turkey, where you put popcorn in the turkey, and whenever the popcorn starts popping, it blows the butt out of the turkey, and that's how you know the turkey's done. Well, this was the popcorn blowing out the butt of Loki. Wow. Okay, that was.
We're live. We're going.
It's a good thing this show isn't live. We can edit that out. So yeah, Loki got his butt blown out in this episode.
Let's move it forward.
Let's move forward.
Gotta
All
move
right.
it forward.
All right. So much stuff happened. So much surprising stuff happened. I love the 19th century variant of Kang. Is such a great character. What happens to him was surprising and shocking. I don't know. It's one of those things where you're expecting it to go one way and then it doesn't. And at the end, you're just like all the other characters thinking, WTF are we going to do now? And I don't really want to say a whole lot more because it is just so stuffed full. And normally that would be a tick against the show, but it's not because this was so darn good. Disney, please show your other Marvel shows as much love and as much care and as much planning as you do Loki, because this is what happens when you plan a show correctly.
All right, there we go. Oh, there are some things in this series that I've gone, wow, I'm so delighted about. And the evil, malicious nature of Miss Minutes is one of my favourite things so far in this season, where she is really trying to court Renslayer for them to be taking over the TVA, so which is wonderful. Victor Timely, yeah, great character. I love him and Ki Kwan's character. The fact that they're like symbiotic in knowledge, because there's stuff in the book that Victor like was reading because he was delivered the book, which is stuff that Ki Kwan had already learned from the book. Yeah, it starts to break my brain when I get into it too much.
It's like a snake
but
eating its own
it's
tail.
So good. This is, at the end of this episode, when it goes down what it is, there is, as I'm watching it, it's like, well, what now? Like you said, the character. How do you move this story forward for what has just happened? And I'm so excited about that because most of the time, mate, we've watched thousands upon hours of entertainment. We, at this stage in our live station, we can genuinely pick where things are headed direction-wise in a TV show or movie, just because we've seen so much. And now to see something where, and what gets me excited at this point, where I get to points in shows or movies where I go, well, I got no idea what they're going to do next now. And this has that. This is a stellar show. This is probably, so far, I really hope they stick the landing, because I think they've got the greatest Marvel TV show that they produced so far in this. This is absolutely deserves Ultra Dazza for sure.
He showed up for you. Look at that.
He showed up for me. There we won't go away. Go away, Ultra Dazza. No, it's Chase. How good is this show?
It is. It's amazing. I love this season. Yeah. Like I said, watching the other Marvel shows, like I'm gonna say right now, I liked Miss Marvel. I loved She-Hulk. I know there's a huge backlash against it, but I absolutely loved that show. And Hawkeye, which I thought was kind of a snooze fest. Just the fact that Loki is so much better because it's planned better. And that's really it. It's like, okay, we have six episodes. Here's what we do in every single one to move our story forward. And I love that. I love the fact that the show is so well ran, so well acted, so well written.
It feels so fresh, Jason.
It is. It just feels fresh.
Like,
they're telling stories we have not seen.
Execution.
Yeah, we haven't seen these stories because we saw Loki. To an extent, we saw She-Hulk. Sure, She-Hulk put a new spin on it, but we still saw it. We saw Miss Marvel. We saw all these other shows.
Yeah, Moon Knight.
This one's something we haven't seen before, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, I love it too. All right, before we move on to the next one, we've got some comments here. Here we go. We got I'm wrong. I love The Simpsons. There you go. So did I.
Okay, that was always allowed.
It was always allowed.
Always allowed.
There we go. Oh, when I'm about the point about a pub meal, he comes back and goes, I'm vegetarian, dude.
That's all right. You are the pub meal.
There you go. Hey, always a good salad, though. You can always get a great pasta and some great salad at a pub as well.
I'm not completely vegetarian, but I'd say like meat only makes up like 5% of my diet. So I'm almost there with you.
There you go. No, I like my meat. I can't help it, but I love my steak.
I like
What can I say?
meat too, but my digestive system does not.
No, fair enough, fair enough. Mind you, if I have lamb, oh man, I could clear a room a few hours later.
Oh yeah,
Like
I'm
my
sure you
farts
could.
will. Yeah, you ever seen that scene in the Poltergeist when the guy's in front of the mirror peeling the skin off his face? Well, you don't need to do that with your hands when I fart. That just happens. Just happens.
Oh,
All
my
right, let's get
goodness.
the show back to how it's supposed to be. All
We're
right.
we lowered the bar and grabbed a
We've
shovel.
still
Right?
got we've got still a few more shows to get through, so let's do it. All right, the next one is Frasier. All right. Now this show, I reckon, Jace, we're not going to give it I'm out, but I think this is the type of show as well. We'll come back and revisit in a few weeks. But did you get a chance to watch this episode by any?
I did. Yes, I did.
Did great. All right. We had discussed this prior to the show, but I think this show might be worth saving up about 4 or 5 at a time and then kind of binging.
I think
into
that's
it. So,
fair.
who spoke last? I did, so I've got to talk about this one. All right. Is that right?
Yes.
I always forget. I'm getting so old. All right. This is wonderful. Like Frasier. Here's the problem. I'm now like at season 4 of the original Frasier now, based upon this series. I'm binge watching Frasier. And, God, hats off to just the absolute performance of Kelsey Grammer is just unbelievable. He is everything in that show. It's its strength and its weakness. I think the weakness comes in is that for a show to be truly great, you need about 2 or 3 of those type of iconic characters. And I think they'll get there. But at the moment, it doesn't matter because Frasier Crane is slaying it. And his pompous kind of, narcissism, I absolutely adore. I think it's a very well-written show in the way of what a sitcom is. And it is very much in that format. It's not pretending to be anything new besides going back to that format which made it so great in the first place. Yeah, and this episode really is dealing with about getting to, Frasier to respect what his son does for a living. And there's that kind of bounce back with it. So, look, it's a good, well-written show. It's a show that I fear may not get the length that it'll need to, maybe match the older series because these days trying to keep a sitcom going for 10 years is a big ask on the streaming world. But I am enjoying every minute of what I'm seeing at the moment. So it's another thumbs up. Frasier Crane doing really well. Kelsey Grammer, best of luck. I hope the show keeps going from strength to strength. There you go. Dazza. Bloody hell, Dazza. Thank you. Where is this? So lazy. I don't know what your problem
I
is.
know.
And it's personal, Dazza. It's personal.
He does
Yes.
not respect you. That's what it is. Which I get.
Yeah, well, him, you, my wife, just everyone.
Generally.
Anyway,
yeah.
Jace, you're ready now. Let me know what you thought of Frasier.
All right, so what I am enjoying most about the show is the fact that it is such a traditional sitcom. I have not watched a sitcom regularly in years, so watching Frasier is like this nostalgic throwback to me, and it's so warm and so charming. You're absolutely right. Kelsey Grammer is so strong on the show that you honestly don't even realize how boring the rest of the cast is. I mean, honestly, they could have recast his son 3 times now, and I don't think I would have noticed. They could have recast Niles' son, and I wouldn't have noticed. Generally speaking, the episode was nothing special, nothing we haven't seen before, but the fact that they linked Frasier's apparent disrespect of his son's work to his fear of his father never coming home, to me was such a therapy thing to do. It's Frasier healing thyself and realizing, I do respect my son. I'm just afraid that one day he won't come home, and that's why I don't approve of his job. I thought, wow, that's really great. I just love this show. I love it's cute, it's funny, it's deep when it needs to be, and it's just wonderful. I love it all so much, and that's why Dazza comes to me whenever he's asked. Good boy.
Straight away. every time. All right, let's go move into the next one, which is a Goosebumps. The Disney Plus series Goosebumps is in episode 7 already. There's 10 episodes for the season. We've watched episode 7, Jason. Let us know what your thoughts were of Give Yourself Goosebumps was the name of the episode.
I will definitely say that out of all the shows that we've covered in this streaming program, I was not expecting to enjoy Goosebumps at all. I was expecting it to be kind of stupid and for kids, but wow! I mean, just wow! This show just gets going, and it's just a fun little, not really scary, but it's a fun little fantasy horror show, and I really enjoy it. I enjoy the whole idea of the villain using props from the previous episodes to trap the heroes and really get the leg up for them. Justin Long is such a fun comedic actor. I forgot how funny he was until we watched this episode, because he just seemed to disappear for the longest time. And he's back, and he's just great in this episode. He plays sinister, he plays funny, he plays bumbling, and he doesn't overplay it. It's just fun to watch him perform. But there were so many cool things about this episode. Finding another page in the book inside the book, I thought was very clever, and it was kind of creepy whenever they went into this abandoned school. And the genuine laugh from me whenever she saw Bill Clinton's picture on the wall and said, "Oh, it's Hillary's husband." That is funny. I don't care who you are. Stupid kids. I love them. But yeah, I'm giving it a thumbs up. I can't wait to see where it's going. It's such a silly, stupid show, but I'm in love with it.
All right. I really like the concept of this, because it felt very an 80s throwback, this episode in concept. You could almost say a little bit of Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors, kind of all together in this universe that they don't know how to kind of, well, in this version, they don't know kind of how to get out of, but they're in a different alternate universe. And I like the idea it's inside a scrapbook. I thought it was quite good. I certainly love the idea of Mr. Bratt. Justin Long was excellent in this episode. And I love the fact that they worked out that he can actually go back into his body by the use of pain, which the kids loved. You know, they loved that. Any chance they could punch a teacher, which was really, really great. It's very much, I would say, even though I would say this is a filler episode, this is an expositional episode in many ways, because I think you're kind of moving towards the next 3 episodes, which are called You Can't Scare Me, Night of the Living Dummy Part 2, and then the final episode called Welcome to Horrorland. So we are starting to get towards that kind of end of this first season or series. I don't know what they've kind of got planned. Imagine it's successful, it'll come back. But no, it's really solid. The kids are good. The kids are serviceable. There's no real breakout stars there. Justin Long absolutely looks like he's having a lot of fun. This was good. Especially loved the end of this, when Harold throws the scrapbook into the puddle, and the ramifications of where we're that in it. Gave us a very cliffhanger, dark ending, which was great. Kind of like what we got with Loki, we also got with Goosebumps here too. Wow. So, fantastic. Well played. Can I be nice this time? Dazza, please. Thank you, Dazza.
See, that's it. You just had to say please.
Yeah. We do have other characters here, but no one's getting a run this week. No one's getting a run. So
no.
All right. Oh, we did have one croc. The croc.
Yeah, the croc showed up, but that's fine.
That's fine. All right, Jace. And now we've got 2 more. We're going to move it now into Chucky territory. Chucky in the White House. Wowee. All right, I'm going to have a crack now, let you know what I thought of Chucky. This so ridiculous, but I am having so much fun with this show. It is stupid. It makes no sense at all, but I'm just loving it, and I'm loving that we've got Meg Tilly back. Jennifer Tilly. Did I say Meg, her sister? Yeah. I said her sister.
I don't
Jennifer.
think she's coming back.
No. Yeah, no, absolutely adored it. It's kind of goofy. It's kind of like, how are they making this work? But they seem to do it, you know. Um, yeah, the whole idea of the voodoo dolls is kind of a lot of fun, I thought. And yeah, of course, it's gross as always. I don't have a hell of a lot to say because it is again, I feel like this is a episode that's just kind of moving things. It's a party. It's mostly set at a party, right? So, but and I feel that at least they got their timing right. They knew when to release a Halloween episode before Halloween. So, but anyway, so yeah, no, it was good. It was a good episode. This show, I think I said it when the first time I watched it. I'm stand by and repeat myself. This has no business being as good as it is, and I am thankful for it. Tazza, here we go. Yeah, real great. Chucky's very cool. All right, well,
I'm ready.
Go.
Let's do this. Okay, so you want to know what makes this season of Chucky so great? It's because for the first time, Chucky has stakes. Chucky is in danger, and Chucky is getting desperate. And I think that has brought a brand new dynamic to this season that we have not seen in this show before. Now, the show has always been fun with Chucky as the antagonist. But now for the first time, we see Chucky desperately trying to save himself. And it is a direction that I never saw this show going in. And that's what I love about Chucky so much, is that anything can happen at any time and the show don't care. The show just does not care. And there's always tension because, as I've said before, any one of these characters could die at any time. They could kill off the main character and I would not even blink. I just, oh, wow, okay, that happened. Moving on. But it's fun. It's such a fun continuation of Chucky. I honestly think the Chucky TV show is the best Chucky lore that's ever been made. And I'm going to put my foot down and be prepared to die on this hill. It's better than all the movies. This is Chucky at peak Chucky. He's never been better than he has been in this TV show. This TV show has no business being this good. But by God, I am so glad it is. Because my boy is, he's giving it a thumbs up, and so am I, because Chucky is an incredible TV series. And it's one of the shows I look forward to every week.
Yeah, like surprisingly so good. I think I agree with you though. I don't think it's been better than it is now. I mean, the first film's pretty great. Like, I will give Child's Play at its core. It's a pretty great 80s movie, but yeah, that just got it firing in all cylinder. By the way, the puppet animatronics, love it. And I'm just so glad that you didn't try to CGI this. You kept it real. You kept it animatronic. Love it.
I don't know if you noticed, but it seems like that it's taken an uptick in quality the last few episodes, especially with the face. The face seems like it's emoting more, and
yeah, they must have more mechanisms or something.
They must, and I love it. It's so great.
I would love to see a doco on this series, like just a behind the scenes 20-minute sequence somewhere where how they're doing the puppetry in this, because it's really great.
Well, really good. if they released a documentary about the puppetry on this show, it would be a satire, and Chucky would be killing everybody backstage. I need you to make everyone think I'm just a puppet. Do you hear me?
Exactly.
Look, I brought your wife. Now I'm stabbing her in the face.
Now, we're going to move on to our last regular show for the week, and this one shocked me, Jace, because it was the final episode of the season, which I was really shocked at, and I didn't realise till after the episode had finished. I'm talking about Our Flag Means Death, Jason. Did you know that we were walking into the final episode?
I did. I knew we were walking into the final episode, yeah.
Well, the title of the episode called A Merman. Let's see what you thought, Jace.
Okay, so I'm going to say something very controversial, something that's probably going to make a lot of people, and especially fans of the show, very upset. If this is the last episode of the season, if this is the last episode of the series, I think they've ended it on the perfect note. I would, honestly, if the show does not come back, I will be fine with it, because I don't think they could have ended it any more perfectly than what they did. I feel like everybody's story... everybody had a complete arc. I feel that they had an emotional journey, and I just feel like the show is complete right now. And to be honest, I'm kind of hoping that the show is over, even though I love this series. I kind of hope it's over because it feels like anything after this is just going to be extra nonsense we didn't ask for. I think that this episode had the gamut of action, of comedy, and an emotional gut punch of an ending where we were sad, where we saw hope for the future, and where, two people finally got to where they needed to be. And I think the final shot of that seagull setting on that perch was fantastic. If it comes back, I will watch it, of course. But I'm kind of hoping it doesn't come back because I think that this is the perfect ending. And it is such a perfect ending. I'm giving it an Ultra Dazzer.
Excellent. All right, let you know what I thought too. This was so beautiful, this episode, in so many different ways, so many interpretations of that word. It was beautiful. And I think, something I haven't talked about in this series, how good it looks. The cinematography and the way the colours and the design and everything is gorgeous. This is certainly worthy of any big budget Hollywood production. And like a really great big budget Hollywood movie that works, this final last episode works so well. It is the completion. However, I will say that I do know for a fact that one of the showrunners has 3 seasons planned out and has a way to finish it next season, he claims. But like you, that doesn't fill me with the confidence that it will be great, because as someone who loved Ted Lasso, I felt that they maybe shouldn't have done the 3rd season of that and kept it to. This was absolutely perfectly done. And the fact is, we know where everybody's at the end of it. Yeah, there's no mystery, I don't think, to this. But kudos to Taika and Reese and everyone involved in making just this beautiful, profound, hilarious, sweet, hopeful, joyful, and dark at times series. Our Flag Meets Death was something that I discovered accidentally when I saw it. Just came up on one of my streaming services, and I've never looked back. But just absolutely fantastic. Yeah, mixed emotions about it. I wish there was another 50 episodes to watch right now, but I get it. I understand where you're coming from, and it makes logical choice to probably end it. And it hasn't been officially picked up either, so it'd still be in the dark. But if that's not the case, they nailed it. It is brilliant. Dazza, where are you, buddy? It's not just you, it's Ultra Dazza as well. And that's not just for this episode. That's for the whole damn season, the whole damn series, to be honest with you.
I devoured this entire show over the last 11 weeks, and it's just been wonderful. So thank you. Thank you, Jace, for introducing me to this show and saying we're going to talk about it, because this is one of my new favorite shows of all time.
Yeah, excellent. Fantastic. Well, I was happy to help. Now we're going to move on. It is time to now get into the next section of the show, which is sudden death. All right, this is where we get judgy. We get real
This
judgy.
is where we get judgy. Oh my gosh, where have you been?
All right, we're going to start it off. You're going to start it off with this one, which is Big Mouth. And I haven't watched Big Mouth before, so you're running this solo. So I'm not even...
you haven't watched it at all?
No. I've only seen little snippets of it. I've never watched Big Mouth.
Okay, well, I will take this one solo then.
You are riding solo, my friend.
Right.
You ready to go?
Let's do it.
Tell me on why I should be watching Big Mouth.
Okay, so I thought I was just going to talk about this new season, but I'm going to talk about the whole show. Why should you watch Big Mouth? Number 1, it's disgusting. Number 2, it's crass. Number 3, it's obscene. Number 4, it's hilarious. This is an animated series about a bunch of junior high kids entering puberty. And I think that no matter how gross, crass, or disgusting the show gets, there's always something to identify with and say, oh, I've been there. Oh, God, I've been there. The cast of characters are fun. The animation is a little ugly, But there have been so many things about this series that have been amazing. The way that it looks at puberty, the way it looks at questioning your sexuality, the way that it looks at depression, the way that it looks at teenage relationships, of familial relationships is just amazing. For example, this last season, there was an episode called Panic at the Mall. There's a character named Caleb who they've hinted that he's autistic before. They've played it off mostly as laughs, but they have a character named Matt who is gay and who's trying to not be the mean gay kid anymore. Forms a friendship with this kid and takes him to the mall. And it was such a sweet episode and such an amazing look at a character who is autistic, just how he sees the world and how he experiences the world. And just the interaction between these two characters was just wonderful. So you may look at Big Mouth and you may think, oh, that's that gross show about wieners and butts and boobs. But at its core, it is a very wholesome, sweet series. And it's absolutely funny. The hormone monster is my Netflix icon, and I just love this series. So do give it a shot. I give this show a thumbs up.
All right. So based upon that, though, the question is this season, did you devour all of them or just a couple episodes?
I devoured every single episode over the course of 2 days. And
Wow.
yeah, it was, I would say this season was probably a minor step down in quality because usually the seasons have a running theme through them. This one felt a little rudderless. Now, there were some good things, such as the Panic at the Mall episode with Caleb and Matt. There was another episode where Matt's sister doesn't really find out he's gay, but his friend says something about, well, you know, sometimes two forks can marry each other. Oh, that's silly. Forks can't marry each other. And that was a really good episode. However, I also think that this season had the worst episode of all time, which was called the International episode, which was just a series of vignettes that took place all over the world, and they were subtitled. And I was just not interested in it at all. I just didn't think it was that funny. I didn't think it was that good. But yeah, I just think that this show is wonderful, even in I don't want to say an off season, but a slightly lower quality season. It's still a wonderful series. Next season is going to be their last one, so you know you got about a year to devour the 7 seasons that we have so far before these kids take a bow out. Oh, and the fourth wall breaks are just, you would think they'd get annoying, but they're actually really funny because they all know they're on a TV show.
Well, I trust your judgment, sir. We have similar tastes, so I'm going to have to get into some Big Mouth. Now, we've got a couple of other shows here for Sudden Death that don't know where we're at, because I'll be honest with you, one of them I didn't get a chance to watch. The other one I watched all, and I know one of them you've kind of watched all but didn't get a chance to watch the other one. So let's just throw it out there. And you know what? Maybe I'll give my impression of what I thought of Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix, because I know you've only seen the first episode, correct?
I've seen the first 2.
I've seen the first 2
I went ahead and watched the second one today.
All right, so we're going to change up format here. I'll give you my opinion, and then at the end of it, you can just throw in what your thoughts, because I'll be talking from a season's perspective. This show is weird, but in a great way, and I love it. And I tell you what, I didn't realize until I was about the second episode in, Jason, that this series is really a love letter to a video game company called Ubisoft. And it's certainly a love letter to video games from the late 2000s to the early 2010s. It's really focusing on that time. And basically what it is, it's a couple of, which are wonderful, very diverse show too. So I give it kudos straight away for having the balls to be diverse and not ram it down our throats, made it an integral part of the story, which I really loved. But the fact that they bring all these different game elements into it, including Rayman, of all characters, plays this slimy talk show host in it. And he is unbelievable. And throughout the season, Jason just keeps getting better and better. The main character I absolutely love. The fact that we get shout-outs to Assassin's Creed by Bullfrog. Bullfrog, I love you so much. Absolutely wonderful, like a French bulldog who who's wearing the Assassin's Creed armor, to an episode where until we even get Sam Fisher references and a lot more coming up throughout the season. It is delightfully odd and weird, and there's an episode coming up, Jason, that completely shatters your expectations of how this series is going to go. It's a winner because it's so weird, it's so odd, and it's from a time where I was playing the Xbox 360 a lot in that period, and definitely Ubisoft games of that period were the dominant games that were in my console. So I had a really great time for it. So I definitely give it a thumbs up. I think it's a really good show. So I reckon we wait for you to watch the whole series before you give your comments, though.
Well, I will say definitely weird. I love it so far. I'm 2 episodes in. I'm gonna watch the rest of the season, but yeah, the animation in this episode, I was like, where have I seen this before? I've seen this animation before. Where have I seen it? It was in Love, Death, and Robots. It was the Dracula episode of Love, Death, and Robots, which I thought with the animation in that episode was outstanding. So yeah, I'm gonna watch the rest of it. It is weird, and I love it.
It gets better. It really does. There's a couple of episodes. I can't wait for you to watch it because there's a couple of things that I know your jaw's gonna drop at, which is great. And the maker of this series is a very eclectic kind of filmmaker. Is it Ari Shakar, one of the whoever. He's a very eclectic artist, so it's really good. It's really good. But I haven't seen Savage's Reign, and I know you said you had started watching it. It looks great. I just didn't get a chance, Jay. So what have you seen so far of that show?
I've seen, I believe, 4 episodes of this show so far.
All right, let us know what you thought of the first 4 episodes of Scavenger's Reign.
So Scavenger's Reign is a very, the 4 episodes I've seen so far, is a very simply plotted show. It is, these people have crash landed on this planet. They bring the mothership down. It lands a distance away from them. And these different groups of survivors are all making their way to the mothership. That's not the draw of the show. The draw of the show is that this is one of the most imaginative, weird, wonderfully animated alien worlds I have ever seen in my entire life. Everything, every frame of this series brings something new and something strange. This is the strange new world that Star Trek always promised us, but because of budgetary reasons, they could not deliver. And that is what is drawing me to this show. It's almost hypnotic. This is almost like ASMR, just putting on an episode and just seeing the strange stuff. And what I love most about Scavenger's Reign is that it's not ramming plot down your throat every few minutes. It gives you time to marinate in these environments and to really appreciate these creatures and these vistas and these new ecosystems. This show is art. It's up there with Primal because so much of the episode is wordless. Now there is dialogue. It's not like Primal where there's no words in it at all, but it is. So much of the episode is wordless, and the dialogue that does happen is very to the point. Like, oh, hey, we need to go in here to be safe. Oh, no, here is bad. Yeah, if you have not had a chance to watch Scavenger's Reign yet, watch it. This is HBO Max, I think, apologizing for canceling that wonderful TV series that I forgot about, the killer robots raising children on an alien planet. They canceled that one, but they brought us this one. So, my gosh, guys, watch this show. It's outstanding.
Wow, really? Well, you know what's got my interest right away is something that I don't see enough of these days. Is I like shows that have time to breathe. So for me, that's something that's got me interested. Animation, is it cel shaded? That kind of 3D framework, but cel shaded kind of animation? Is that what it looks like?
It doesn't strike me as that. No, it doesn't strike me as that, but
it's very hand drawn, isn't it? In fact,
yeah, it looks very hand drawn. It's got a lot of Ghibli. It's got some Ghibli influence. It's not quite as good, but it definitely has a lot of the look of Captain Laserhawk as well, just not quite as exaggerated and crazy. Yeah, but the animation in this television series is wonderful. If you're not watching it, if you're a science fiction fan and you're not watching it, You need to correct that right now.
All right. Okay, Jace. Well, we've gotten through all the shows, and there are a lot of shows to talk about this week, but we're not done yet because we've got our final segment, and that is Hidden Gems. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to get you. We're going to start it off this week with your hidden gem of a show that you must tell everyone all about. They must be watching this, and that is Son of Zorn, Jay.
Son of Zorn. Were you aware of this show before I told you about it?
No. Was
okay.
Not. I knew the title, but I had no idea of the plot, and I had seen one still image of an animated character, but I hadn't kind of put it together. But I have seen the trailer.
Okay, so
now
let's talk about Son of Zorn. So
well, we don't need a timer on this one.
No, we don't, and I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna obey a timer on this one. So, Son of Zorn, you and I are both huge fans of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. So I want you to picture this scenario. He-Man falls in love with a woman from Earth. What happened? Oh, you didn't tell me you were going to play the trailer.
Okay. Sorry.
So
get out of it.
You freaked me out. You have to warn me about these things.
That was production value. Value.
All right.
Let's go back.
You can throw it back.
I'm going to play footage as you're talking.
Okay, so thank you for the warning. He-Man, and he's not He-Man, of course, it's Zorn, but we're going to call him He-Man. He-Man meets a woman from Earth and falls in love with her. And then they have a child together. They break up. The woman takes the child back to Earth. And after a few years, He-Man decides he wants to come to Earth to be with his son. And so he has to acclimate himself to Earth culture. He has to get a job. He has to connect with his son, who really doesn't want anything to do with him. And he has to deal with things like a boss. He has to deal with his wife's new husband, and just the everyday rigmarole of daily life, while daily life has to deal with Zorn and his strange assortment of magical items and powers and things of that nature. This series did not last very long. It was, in my opinion, they put it on Fox, first of all, and that was the wrong network. They should have put it on Adult Swim. There were only 13 episodes made, but each one of these episodes were just hysterical. And as a fan of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, I knew exactly what they were doing. They were doing a He-Man show without He-Man in it. And yeah, it's just funny. And it's not only that, it is, you see growth in these characters as well. Because the son character, for example, is half human, half cartoon. Oh. Like his lower half is cartoon. Oh. And so he's torn between two cultures. And you have Zorn, who is trying to, one, he comes in thinking he's hot snot and he's going to earn his wife back. But over the course of the series, he realizes that her happiness matters and she's happy where she is now. And so he grows in that way. And the boss character grows, and the new husband grows. And this was just a very nice, funny, low stakes, humorous riff on He-Man. And I really think it should have been given a better chance. I do think the series got better with every episode, all the way up until the 13th episode, where they ended, unfortunately, on a cliffhanger. I think that the second season would have been great if they'd have done what I think that they would have done. But if you have not seen Son of Zorn, it's a little hard to find, but I own the entire series digitally. Watch it. Son of Zorn deserved better than what it got.
Wow. You sold me. As soon as you had He-Man, you had me. So definitely want to check it out. Well, my hidden gem of the week's a little bit different than what you just spoke about. And that is an iconic Australian, because I'm plugging everything Aussie. And I'm really getting through some of the iconic movies that maybe the world hasn't seen, but certainly deserve watching. And what I'm talking about this week, and I know my friend in Melbourne there will know exactly this film, Chopper. Chopper is basically an adaptation of a real person called Chopper Read, Mark Chopper Read. He was a real criminal. He only died a few years ago. Very outgoing personality, and somebody who was certainly known as a bit of a legend in the Melbourne underworld. And this film is amazing. It is electric. It is one of the great crime movies. And I'm saying that. It is up there with a Scorsese film, with any kind of British crime drama that you can think of. Even Tarantino, not in style, but just how well this movie is made. It is unbelievable. That is Eric Bana, who is an absolute career-defining role, playing Mark Chopper Reed. And it is out and about, just hilarious, terrifying, scary. What else can you think about it? It's exciting. It's everything that you would want. Because of that movie and his performance, Eric Bana, who won all the awards in Australia. He won everything. Even if there was an award for butter, he was winning it because he was that good in that movie. Winning awards, and he shouldn't even be winning. That good. No, that's how he got the Hulk. That's how he got the role in the Hulk, because Ang Lee had seen his performance in Chopper and went, don't know why he thought that character was the guy for the Hulk, but it literally kicked his Hollywood career, as well as the director, which is Andrew Dominic, who went on to do things like that really long title movie about Jesse James with Brad Pitt. He did that movie Monroe. He's a bit more of an art kind of director. But this film is top notch. It is. I don't care which part of the world you come from. If you like a good crime thriller, you cannot go past this movie and not come out thinking, now that was something special. So check it out, Jace Chopper. You've got to get on it. You're going to love it. It is very confronting, very violent, but so funny as well. Because that's something people don't know about Eric Bana. Eric Bana was made his way in Australia, first off, as being part of a comedy sketch group where he would do parodies of other Australian celebrities. That's how he got his start.
I believe that.
When he went and got this film, everything kind of gelled, and there you go. It's an excellent film. You've got to check it out.
I fully believe you when you say he was a comedian, because the comedians make they to me make the best actors. I don't know. It's easy to be dramatic, but it's hard to be comedic, and so it takes a lot of talent to do that.
Yeah. And he does that fine line, because there are scenes in this film that are so violent, but he will say something in such a way and you'll be laughing at it. So I'll make sure you get a copy of that movie, because you've got to check it out. Chase, we're done. We've gotten through it. Can you believe this?
This was a big week.
This is a big week, and I can't believe how much different content we've been able to squeeze out of this last hour and 20 minutes, but we've gotten through it. And I'm telling you what, I'm loving it, because I'm able to watch a lot of stuff that maybe I just would have put on the back burner, but because of this show, I've got to watch it, and I think I'm better off for it. So
Same for me. I'm watching things I wouldn't have given a second look to, and I'm enjoying it.
Absolutely. Well, if you're enjoying us, don't forget, guys, it's really important that if you can like and subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell. Please support us. We're having a blast here, and your attention helps us keep this train going. And
we crave attention and acknowledgement.
We are needing.
And incidentally, we are 17 subscribers away from 8,000.
We are, which is incredible, Jason. Great
effort.
So I was hopefully tomorrow we're going to be hitting that 8,000.
Yeah.
But I think it's the beginning of something really special, guys. So jump on board.
Absolutely. And you know what? If we are at 8,000 subscribers by tomorrow, Jace will do the next show fully nude.
Yep. But we won't have many subscribers after that. It'll go to 8,000 down to 8. All right, now...
But it will be 8 with good taste.
That's right. And if you like watching us, because you should be, you're watching this show, so you're clearly entertained by us, because we are the legends of the internet. You can also catch that legend there tomorrow night, talking about, I believe, the final episode of Lower Decks for this series. And that is Jason and, of course, Captain Joe Dove at Captain's Quadrant. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m., really exciting stuff. So, and I'm can't wait to see that episode, final episode of the season.
Me
It'll be
too.
cool.
I'm ready to see where that show goes.
All right, and on a Friday night, in American time, and Saturday morning in Australia, we do Pop Culture Spread. Me and my mate Rick and we go through all the Hollywood news, the backdoor deals, the controversies, everything that's happening in Hollywood, the money, who's losing money, who's making money, all that kind of stuff. Check us out in Pop Culture Spread. And, of course, stay around, guys. Check out the channel. We've got some cool stuff going. If you loved Halloween, like most people love Halloween, if you haven't been watching Jason's 31 reviews over Halloween of the horror film, you've got to be watching them. And you ended on a high, Jace. You really ended on a high. Fantastic choice for the final movie. And also, I've started up doing some gaming as well. Live streaming games is now coming to us. But I'm an elitist. I only love Nintendo. The show's called Switcheroo, where I'm going through all 40-plus years of Nintendo games, and we're playing it live stream. And it's hilarious because I'm really crap at them. So you can sit there and judge me as I'm just terrible at video games. And
I never really stopped judging you. And I may just have to join you on that show, by the way, because it looks like a lot of fun.
That's the plan, is to get Jason for some multiplayer action. And not really, we want to work as a team, because we figure that we're both so terrible at video games that if we work together, we might be just slightly below average.
Maybe even mediocre.
Maybe. So check that out on the channel as well as a whole heap of other stuff. VHS Vault, The Power of J Skull, of course, all the Love the Shorts. There's just so much going on at the Jason Roycaster channel, and we'll see you guys very soon. We out? That's right. We're going to do this thing again.
Right. You know, they know that we're just doing this so we can put up the end screens.
Yeah, just so YouTube will give us some love.
And nobody watches this part anyway. I could say anything I wanted to.
That's right. But we want YouTube to love us. Please, algorithm, service our needs. We're leaving this blank screen up, and we're talking garbage just so we're giving more time to promote more videos on your channel. So do us a solid now. All right. I'm so going to go take a dump.